Brave voice, the umbrella, finding the courage to stand up for someone. Written by Kevin O. A brave voice read aloud. Chapter 1. The Little Elephant. Suri Patel had learned a lot about being brave. She had learned how to raise her hand when her voice wanted to hide. She had learned how to walk up to a new kid and say hi. She had even learned how to sit under bright stage lights and play her grandpa's garden. Song on the kalimba. All the way to the end, even after a wrong note. Each time she used the same 3 little steps. Root, breath, go. Press your feet down like roots. Let one slow breath out. Then say or play just the first 3 things. So by the time she was in 4th grade, Suri thought she mostly understood bravery. She was about to find out there was a whole other kind she had never tried. It was a bright, windy Tuesday, and Suri was at the far end of the schoolyard, where the big kids' blacktop met the little kids' playground. She liked it there. She could hum to herself by the fence. With Roly riding along in his clear dome jar in her green satchel, his leaf and his twig rattling softly. That was when she noticed the smallest boy she had ever seen at their school. He was a 1st grader, maybe 6 years old, with a puff of dark curls and light-up sneakers. He sat by himself at the bottom of the slide, and he was holding, very carefully, with both arms, a small gray knitted elephant. The elephant had clearly been loved for a long time. One ear was a different color of gray, like it had been fixed. Its trunk drooped. A button eye had been sewn back on with bright red thread. The little boy whispered something to the elephant and touched their foreheads together. Suri smiled. She knew about carrying something small and precious everywhere you went. She peeked into her satchel. Roly was stretched out long on his twig, calm and content, his little legs waving in the breeze. His name's probably Peanut, Suri whispered to Roly. Or Biscuit. She didn't know yet that in about 4 minutes, she was going to wish she'd been braver than she was. Chapter 2. The Thing She Didn't Do. The trouble came from 3 big kids by the basketball hoop. The tallest was a boy named Dax from the other 4th grade class. He had a loud laugh that always seemed to be looking for something to laugh at. His 2 friends followed wherever the laugh went. Dax spotted the little boy with the elephant, and his laugh found its target. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Dax strolled over, grinning. What is that? Are you a baby? Big kids don't carry stuffed animals. The little boy pulled the elephant in tight against his chest. He's not stuffed, he said in a very small voice. He's Bumpy. He's mine. Bumpy, Dax repeated, and his 2 friends laughed. One of them reached out and flicked the elephant's droopy trunk. Oh, is the baby gonna cry? You gonna go home and tell your mommy? Bumpy slipped. The little boy grabbed for him and missed, and the knitted elephant tumbled onto the blacktop by Dax's sneaker. The boy's chin began to wobble. And 30 feet away, by the fence, Suri went cold all over. She knew that feeling. Not from the outside, from the inside. She knew exactly what it was like to be small and want to disappear. and have your one precious thing out of your hands. Her heart started to pound as if it were her down there. Say something, a voice inside her said. Go help him. Say something. She opened her mouth, and her voice hid. It hid the way it used to hide in class, the way her hands had buzzed under the stage lights. Her feet felt stuck to the blacktop. What if Dax turns the loud laugh on me? What if I say it wrong? It's not even my business. Somebody else will help. But nobody else did. All around the schoolyard, other kids glanced over and then looked away, fast. The way you look away from something you don't want to be part of. Dax nudged the fallen elephant with his toe. Then the bell rang, loud and long. And he laughed one more time and jogged off with his friends toward the doors. The little boy scrambled down, snatched up Bumpy, and pressed the elephant to his face. He didn't cry quite, but it was close. Suri walked to line up with her stomach in a hard, cold knot. She hadn't said one single word. In her satchel, Roly had curled himself into a tight, gray ball. I know, Suri whispered miserably. Me too. Chapter 3. The Two Kinds of Brave. That afternoon, the garden did not fix it. Usually the back step made everything better. Grandpa watering his tomatoes. The peachy sky, Roly relaxed on the railing. But tonight, Suri just sat with her chin on her knees and the curled-up jar in her lap. And she felt terrible. Grandpa lowered himself down beside her, his knees creaking, his green cardigan soft. He didn't ask what was wrong. He just waited, the way he did when something mattered. There was a little kid today, Suri said finally. At recess. Big kids were being mean to him. They knocked his stuffed elephant on the ground and called him a baby. Her throat went tight. And I just stood there, Grandpa. I saw the whole thing. I knew exactly how he felt. And I didn't do anything. Grandpa nodded slowly. Ah, he said. That's a heavy thing to carry home. I'm supposed to be brave now, Suri said. I can raise my hand. I can play on a stage. Why couldn't I just say something? Grandpa was quiet for a moment. Then he said, because that was a different kind of brave, little beetle. A bigger kind. Suri looked up. All the brave you've done so far, Grandpa said, was brave for yourself. Your hand. Your voice. Your song. That's real, and it's hard, and I'm proud of every bit of it. He tapped the jar gently. But there's another kind. The kind where you're not scared for yourself. You're scared, and you speak up for someone else anyway. That's the biggest kind of brave there is. Not many grown-ups can do it. You tried to, today, and your voice hid. That doesn't make you a coward. It makes you someone who found the edge of an even braver thing. Suri thought about that. It felt worse than a stage, she admitted. On the stage, I was only scared of messing up my thing. This time, a little kid needed help, and She stopped. Let me tell you what your voice is, Grandpa said. He held out his open hand as if it were raining into it. When you speak up for yourself, your voice is a song, something you share. But when someone smaller is standing out in the rain, getting rained on, and you step in and speak up beside them. He lifted his hand over hers, like a roof. Your voice is an umbrella. You hold it over them so they're not alone in it. You don't have to shove anybody. You don't have to be mean back. You just have to stand next to them and open the umbrella. Suri looked down at Rolly's jar. Rolly had uncurled. One careful leg at a time, he was reaching out into the air. Root, breath, go, Suri said slowly. Does it work for umbrellas too? Grandpa smiled. It works for umbrellas too. Chapter 4. The first 2 words. The hard part, Suri decided, was that being an umbrella meant she had to do it again. Go back to the same corner of the schoolyard and hope Dax came back too. So she could be brave the second time in a way she hadn't the first. She practiced on the walk to school. Not a song, words. That's not okay, she said quietly to the sidewalk. Give it back. The words felt strange and important in her mouth, like coins she was saving up. Leave him alone. Plink. He's not a baby. Plink. Bumpy is his and you have to give him back. Plume. 3 little things. Just 3. At lineup, she found her friend Mateo, sketchbook under his arm, and told him the whole story. The elephant, the wobbling chin, her voice hiding. All of it. Mateo's kind face went serious. That's Dax, he said. He does the loud laugh thing. I never know what to say either. He was quiet a second. Then, but there's 2 of us. If you say something, I'll stand next to you. It's easier to be an umbrella if the umbrella's got 2 hands holding it up, right? Suri felt something warm and steady settle into her chest. One voice, she said, remembering something Ms. Okafor once told the class. Then 2. That's usually all it takes. At recess, they went to the far corner together and waited by the fence. The little boy was there again, of course, sitting at the bottom of the slide. Bumpy tucked under his chin, keeping one wary eye on the big kid's black top. Suri crouched down to his level. Hi, she said gently. I like your elephant. What's his name? The boy studied her carefully. Bumpy, he said. Because of his ear. He turned it to show her the different gray, fixed-up ear. My grandma made him. My grandpa taught me a song, Suri said. Grown-ups who love you make the best things, huh? The little boy almost smiled. And that was when the loud laugh came around the corner. Chapter 5. The umbrella? Oh, the baby's back, Dax announced, ambling over with his 2 friends. With Bumpy. He reached out to flick the elephant's trunk again. The little boy shrank. His chin started to wobble. Bumpy's droopy trunk trembled. And every single scared feeling from Tuesday came flooding back into Suri all at once. The cold, the pounding heart, the voice that wanted to hide. The little sticky whisper of, it's not your business, someone else will do it. What if he laughs at you? But this time, Suri knew what to do with all of that. Root. She pressed both sneakers flat against the blacktop and imagined roots going down, down, into Grandpa's garden. I am not going to float away, I am not going to run. Breath. She let one slow breath out, long and quiet. I don't have to rush. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to stay. Go. She stood up tall, stepped in beside the little boy so her shoulder was next to his, and opened the umbrella. Hey, she said. Her voice shook a little, but it did not hide. That's Bumpy. He's not for grabbing. Dax blinked. The loud laugh paused, surprised, like it had bumped into a closed door. He's just a little kid with something he loves, Suri went on. 3 little things at a time, feet still rooted. You've got stuff you love too. This isn't fun for him. It's only fun for you, and that's not the same thing. She wasn't mean about it. She didn't call Dax a name or shove him. She just stood there, steady, beside the boy, with her voice held open over both of them like a roof. And then Mateo stepped up on the other side. Yeah, he said simply. Come on, Dax. Recess is better when everybody's okay. For a long second, nobody moved. 2 of them, standing shoulder to shoulder, and one small boy between them holding a knitted elephant. Something in Dax's face changed. Without the laugh, and without anybody to laugh with, the whole thing suddenly seemed less like a game and more like exactly what it was. His ears went a little pink. He looked at the elephant, and then at his own sneakers. Whatever, he mumbled. It's just a dumb elephant. But there wasn't any laugh left in it. He turned and walked off, and his 2 friends, who, Suri realized, had never really wanted to be there either, went with him. One of them glanced back and, when Dax wasn't looking, gave the little boy a tiny, awkward wave, like an apology he didn't know how to say. The little boy let out a breath so big his whole body got smaller, and then bigger again. He looked up at Suri with enormous eyes. You stood up for me? He whispered, as if it were the most amazing thing that had ever happened. Nobody ever did that before. You're not by yourself out here anymore, Suri said. Okay? Come find me and Mateo. We're always by the fence. She reached into her satchel and lifted out the dome jar to show him. And this is Rolly. He gets scared too. Watch. When he feels safe, he does this. The 3 of them leaned in. And Rolly, riding high on his twig in the bright, windy air, was not curled up at all. He was stretched out long and easy, every little leg reaching toward the sun. The little boy laughed, a real, bright, first-grader laugh, and held Bumpy up so the elephant could see the roly-poly too. Walking back to lineup, Suri felt taller than she had all week. She had not been perfect. Her voice had shaken the whole time. But she had stayed. She had stepped in. She had opened the umbrella. And she understood now the thing Grandpa had been trying to tell her. A brave voice isn't only for your own songs. Some days, the bravest thing it can do is make a little bit of shelter, just enough room. Just for a moment, for somebody who's standing out in the rain. We were umbrellas, she whispered to Rolly. Rolly reached one leg a little higher, as if he already knew. The end. The end. Root. Breath. Go. and let your brave voice out.